Hey guys, ECRG here, and today we're going to talk about what is a clinical trial lead and what do they do. Hey guys, ECRG here, and today we're going to talk about what is a clinical trial lead. Now, this position goes by many different names. I've heard clinical trial lead, I've heard clinical team manager, clinical team lead, sometimes lead CRA. Now those roles are slightly different, but some places they're interchangeable. Lead CRA, same thing as clinical team lead or clinical trial lead. It's just a matter of formality pretty much. As far as the role goes, they're going to be pretty much the same thing. Now, don't let this confuse you. All of it is the same thing. They're going to be doing the same type of things and responsible for the same um, uh, study components. So pretty much we're going to talk about some of the bread and butter things that a clinical trial lead will do. And the first thing that they're going to be responsible for, overseeing the management of the clinical team. Now the clinical team is a little bit different at every organization, but it's basically CRAs, CMAs, and CTAs. So that's clinical research associates, that's either central monitoring associates or clinical monitoring associates or in-house CRAs. Those are all the in-house personnel. And then there's some organizations have clinical trial assistants, or some even call them clinical trial associate. Same thing. Those are in-house personnel as well. So the clinical trial lead is going to be all over these people, making sure that they're working together in an effective manner. And ultimately, the clinical trial lead is going to be making sure that CRAs are getting out to their visits, they're scheduling their visits on time, they're making sure that the CMAs are calling their sites, or in-house CRAs are calling their sites. They're making sure that the clinical trial assistant is able to do what they need to do, uploading stuff into the TMF, etc., etc. So clinical trial lead is responsible for the whole entire clinical side. They're essentially the manager of that whole entire side of things. And then the project manager pretty much is over the whole entire project, but they have a more focus on the project management side of things, where the clinical trial lead is basically the project manager of the clinical side. So that's a key distinction there. And so basically the first thing they're going to be over is managing of the clinical team. Now, the second thing that they're going to be over is the plans and protocols dealing with the project, more so the clinical plans and protocols. So these are going to be things like the clinical monitoring plan. Obviously, since the clinical trial lead is over the monitors, they're going to be heavily involved in the clinical monitoring plan. They're also going to be heavily involved with the TMF plan and any other plans that are associated with the clinical operations of things. So they're going to have major input and pretty much responsible for those plans, just the CMP and the TMF plan, just to name a couple. Then the third thing that they're going to be in charge of is the overall TMF. Now this is a big one because it is the clinical side that is mostly involved with TMF, depending on your organization. So obviously the clinical team lead, someone that oversees the clinical side, is going to be over that as well. I've had experience with, when a TMF is really out of whack, it is the clinical team lead, the CRAs, the CMAs that stop everything they're doing and get that TMF in order. Sometimes there are checks throughout a study where the TMF needs to have but so many documents in it, and if it doesn't, everybody's got to stop what they're doing and really focus on getting that TMF in order. So a clinical team lead is going to be someone that spearheads that and really make sure that it's done appropriately. Now, a clinical team lead is usually someone who was a CRA first, that's clinical research associate. So it's typically a role that sits above the CRAs, and they are someone who's been a CRA or an in-house CRA first for a number of years, and they have a better understanding of the trial process, so they're able to be a lead. This is a managerial position. As I mentioned, they're going to be managing CTAs, CMAs, in-house CRAs, and CRAs. So it's very important that they have managing skills. And this role does not travel as much. They may travel to various meetings like a kickoff meeting or a quick start camp or something of that ilk, but they're not going to be traveling to sites to do visits unless there's nobody else to do it, or they're just really low on resourcing. So they're not going to be doing a lot of travel. The travel is going to be more so for the CRAs. So a lot of people who are CRAs have been CRAs for a few years. They are, get burnt out of traveling, which is fair. Everybody gets burnt out and needs a change at some point. So a CRA will then try and become a CTL, clinical trial lead, at that point. So it's a more in-house and less traveling, so they can recover, and then maybe they'll go back out on the road eventually, or they'll just stay in the clinical trial lead role. Now that was just a general overview of what a clinical trial lead does. Bread and butter, pretty much going to be the same type of things at every organization. Now every organization's different, so some of the more minute details may be different upon CTL, like vendor management, like particularly which vendors. They're probably going to be involved in that at every CRO. Site feasibility, that's stuff they're going to be doing, but the degree of that can be different at every organization, and that's important to notice that every organization is set up a little bit differently. So I just talked about the three main bread and butter things that is going on for the CTL. All right, guys, hope you like this video. If you have anything I missed, please comment down below. Just wanted to keep it really general for this one. Comment down below if you have any questions, concerns, whatever. Email us at eliteclinicalgroup@gmail.com. Don't forget to hit that red subscribe button and become a part of the notification squad by hitting the bell. All right, guys, if you enjoyed this video, hope you watch the next video. It's gonna be a good one. Take care, guys.